All right, good people. Sunday focus list. Well, technically it's Friday night, but you'll be seeing this come Sunday. So hope everyone's having a good start to the year so far. Personally, on my end, everything's going really well. Just the whole theme of this year has been focus and patience. Focus from the standpoint of focusing on nothing but my go-to setups, and then just the patience to kind of step up to the plate here, man up, so to say, and hold on to those trades until something changes. So looking at some of my biggest winners from the year here in Amazon and Nvidia, I'm just collecting premium. Right now, Nvidia finally started moving this week, but I mean, Amazon hasn't done anything. But that's kind of a good thing. It hasn't really fallen below the weekly 21. It never lost its bullish weekly structure. So the patience to sit through some of that day-to-day crap there, that leads to some nice profits. For Nvidia, which this week was the star of the show, finally paying off here. So focus this year from the standpoint of the squeeze is my go-to setup, and then patience as far as, when I find that setup that has my criteria, stacked EMAs above the 21, etc., build a position, and then freaking stay in that position until something changes. So if you're focusing on a weekly squeeze, focus on a weekly squeeze. If you start letting that daily chart and all that kind of crap, impact your decisions, you're getting shaken out on noise. So focus and patience has been the theme this year. And I'll show you guys the numbers here. I mean, this is kind of irrelevant, keep in mind, right? It's, if anything, what I want you to get from the videos is just kind of the focus, the strategy, the numbers. They're cool, but it is a little bit irrelevant, and it's all relative to account size. So keep that in mind as well. But so far here for the year of 2021, have closed about $44,000 of profits. We're up about $15,000 so far this month. And this week was a pretty good week, mainly due to Nvidia closing about $18,000. So getting rid of a couple of the losses, we've taken on some hedges here, and we're looking green for the month of February so far. And let's see here. So that's the closed P&L, and as far as, the combination of open positions and closed P&L, where the heck am I going? Just about 32,000. So decent start to the year here, but it's just really kind of rinse and repeat the same thing week after week. Always respecting the current market conditions, but I'm just kind of tuning out 90% of what goes on and focusing on my game. So, I'm pretty much showing up to the market with an agenda where, hey, if a setup doesn't look like Chewy, I just don't want to trade it, and I don't want to waste any time looking at it. If it's not my setup, it's just none of my business. So with Chewy here, this is what I'm looking for. Got a beautiful structure, awesome daily squeeze holding above the moving averages. And when that histogram starts to turn bullish yesterday, I'm jumping in there with a put credit spread. So we got a position in Chewy. Got a position here in Snow. So it's been working nice as of late. And of course, what works nice as of late doesn't have to continue to work. But what's been working pretty nicely is finding a good-looking setup with earnings a few weeks out. It's a nice combo for that pre-earnings run. So with Snow here, good-looking daily squeeze, bullish histogram holding above the moving average. We got a couple of put credit spreads on this one, looking for the move into earnings. And I think as long as you're holding that structure, that's a worthwhile move to potentially pursue there. So I think Snow looks phenomenal. We've also got a couple of positions left here in Blink. So here's what I like about Blink. It's a daily squeeze, which I'm already a little bit biased towards, as you know. But it's just the overall trend here for Blink, where if we just kind of get up nothing but that good old trusted 21 EMA, all this thing's been doing is pushing off the 21 and coming back home, and it makes another trip to the upside. It comes back home. Textbook example of reversion to the mean. So this week we found ourselves coming back to the 21. Could we see the trend continue from here? Just because it's happened the last handful of times, doesn't mean it's got to happen again. But you got a good daily squeeze, a bullish histogram, high open short interest, and just a beautiful trend here. So we're going to continue to hold on to the positions there for BLNK. And then let's talk a little bit of Tesla here. So with Tesla, this week I did start to scale into a couple of different put credit spreads for March monthly expiration because of the good-looking daily squeeze. Now, of course, Tesla was a little bit sloppy this week, but I'm still holding on to my position. Here's my thought process. When you get a big name like Tesla, believe me, myself and those in the simpler room and those watching these videos, we're not the only ones looking at a consolidation here. So it's potentially a pretty crowded move. And in my experience, getting the move you're looking for isn't always going to be as easy as we'd like. So with that being said, I'm kind of just taking a big step back, looking at Tesla and being objective. Nothing really changes here until we can break out of this range. Whether that be we're diving to the downside under that support level at 780, or finally it's waking up, firing the squeeze long, and we're reaching new grounds and new all-time highs. I think anything inside this range, just as it has been for the last month or so, is really nothing but noise. And that ain't noise that's going to shake me out. So I do love the idea of Tesla potentially making a nice push towards that 950, towards that 1,000 for the March monthly expiration. And that's a move that I'm willing to pursue, and I'm willing to continue to hold those credit spreads until something really changes here. And what's making my life a little bit easier is I'm not making it all about Tesla right now. It's one of the biggest mistakes you make as traders. We find a setup, especially in a hype name like Tesla, and we kind of make that position the end-all, be-all. If Tesla works, awesome. If it doesn't, I could kind of care less. It's just one of many. And while Tesla might not be looking all that great, Chewy is kicking some butt. I think Blink, I think Snow look awesome as well. We took some gains off the table this week from PLTR. We had a couple of profitable trades from some NDX iron condors. Look at your account as a whole. How are my positions kind of interacting? All right, Tesla might be looking like crap right now, but am I flat? Am I moving the ball forward? I think that's really helpful. So I'll keep on holding on tight to Tesla. And then outside of that, from Amazon's perspective, I still love the weekly squeeze here. So I'm going to continue to hold on to my put credit spreads down at 3,000, which expire on the March monthly expiration. But this is kind of a sloppy daily chart here. So as the market's a little bit extended, and because I've already got some nice potential profit coming in, should Amazon just simply keep its crap together here, selling call credit spreads out the money is kind of a nice way to bring on some peace of mind and some additional profits should the market and should Amazon be a little bit soft here. Otherwise, Amazon just explodes, and I'm jumping for joy because we got the put spreads. So I'm still holding on to Amazon, turning this into somewhat of an iron condor. But listen, Amazon could sell off all the way down here towards 3,000. Quite frankly, nothing's changing about the weekly squeeze. So set your expectations wisely when you have these bigger time frame consolidations. So I do love me some Amazon. And going back to NVIDIA here, the semiconductor sector looks awesome right now. Check out SMH, which is the ETF for the semis. Last time the sector was in a daily squeeze and fired the daily squeeze long, that was a great place to be looking for opportunity to the upside for a handful of weeks. We got another daily squeeze, once again firing to the upside, so potentially for another handful of weeks here, the semiconductors could be a place to look for opportunity. With that being said, don't start breaking all kinds of rules. As much as I wish I was back in NVIDIA, it's just cooked. It's too extended. Now that might mean that I'm going to miss the entire move from 600 to 650, but I ain't taking an entry up here. I'm not going to break my rules. So if I want to take a ride here with the semiconductors, I'm still going to find a setup that meets my criteria, and AMD fits the bill. So I did take a starter position here today in the simpler options room, which I cannot suggest enough. Y'all come on in and join us. But what I like about NVIDIA for this pursuit of some upside in the semiconductors is we got a great structure to it. We got a daily squeeze that hasn't started its move yet. It's not extended, unlike NVIDIA. Good looking bullish histogram, but this just has a killer looking 3-day squeeze setting up with an orange dot on the indicator there, so it's a good tight squeeze. And we got a pretty good looking weekly squeeze as well. So as the semiconductor sector might be gearing up for a nice move here, I've planted a couple of seeds in AMD because of the solid structure. And if we get some moves to the upside over the next few days, next few weeks, we're positioned pretty nicely. Outside of that, just don't lose sight of the fact here that the market technically isn't too extended, but we're getting towards that territory. Anytime you're getting a good 2+ ATRs above the 21, it's just a probabilities thing. There's a growing probability sometime soon we might pull back towards the mean. So at least keep that in mind. As far as things I have on the table here to protect thyself, should the market come in next week, we got the call spreads there on Amazon. We did take off one iron condor this week for a good chunk of its max profit, a good 50-60% of max profit on the NDX, and we got one more open. So heading into this week here. All right, and remember the market's going to be closed here on. see, market is closed on Monday. So with the iron condor here, we sold puts at 13,400 and then sold calls at 14,000. So the thought process here is that come Tuesday, once the market opens up again, we're going to get some quick premium decay in our favor. One, because these calls and puts are pretty damn deep out the money, but two, they expire on Wednesday. So these options are going to lose premium decay Saturday, Sunday. They're going to do it on Monday when the market's not even open, and then come Tuesday, they've only got 1 day of life left to them. So in a perfect world, we open up relatively flat there early Tuesday morning. These calls are going to get just right obliterated. Same thing happens to the put side, and that premium is coming on into our pocket. So it should be an interesting week, but what we're talking about in the simpler room today, and this is what I'm going to leave y'all with. Ask yourself these 3 questions. Towards the end of the week, before we're rolling into the weekend, look at all of your open positions. So right now I got some Tesla longs, some Amazon longs, some Amazon call spreads, got an iron condor, I got some Chewy, etc., etc. Look at all the open positions you have and ask yourself, if the market rallies very strong next week, am I going to be in good shape? How are these positions going to hold up? Am I going to move my account forward? If the market is just a total chop fest next week, no direction, just back and forth noise, how am I going to be holding up? And if the market does pull back next week, am I taking significant damage? Look at your account as a whole and then just ask yourself, how is your account going to be looking? Should the market go higher, go nowhere, or go lower? I appreciate you watching for always. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. You can trade live with me Monday through Friday from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern in the Simpler Trading Options Room. So make sure you check them out at simplertrading.com, Simpler Trading on Twitter, and also here on YouTube as well. Until the next video, I'll talk to you soon. Hope you enjoyed your long weekend, and it's time to get back to work.